Good morning. We are working on pastoral counseling, and this is the second class, effectiveness in counseling. I just mentioned about last week we did take a look, what the pastoral care is and pastoral counseling is, and some benefits and challenges from the pastoral counseling and pastoral care, something like that. As I said, the pastoral counseling is essential in pastoral care. So if you are, pastoral care providers, as pastors and priests or chaplains, whatsoever, and then you have to know the basic things on pastoral counseling, because no matter what, you have to do pastoral counseling. Okay, you can't say you are not providing any pastoral counseling or whatever, because once you talk with your church members or any neighbors from your churches or organizations, you talk with people and you just encourage people or something like that for 10 minutes or 5 minutes or 1 hour or 3 hours. Those are pastoral counseling. Okay, so we want to know what the pastoral counseling is, and this is the first thing we need to know is effectiveness in counseling. The basic characteristics of helping relationships are accurate empathy. Okay, helping relationships, you help, and there's your church members, for example, they are getting help from you. So for that, you need the basic characteristics, accurate empathy. If they got hurt, you wanna just have accurate empathy. You have to understand that the person has very bad emotional situations because of the pain, frustrations, pains, fear. Those things can be involved. Okay. So you want to have accurate empathy. You have to understand that person is not happy at all. Okay. You have to understand that person is not depressed because of the physical problem. Later on, the person can be depressed, but at this point, I don't know. But you have to understand. So there is accurate empathy and non-possessive warmth. Non-possessive warmth means a real interest in the person. You just pretend that you want to just show your kindness. So, oh, I'm sorry you got hurt. Well, if that is your type, it's okay. But genuinely, are you interested in the person? Do you really feel something sorry for that situation? Okay. That is the non-possessive one. So you just pretend that because people are watching you. A sincere concern for him or her, an outgoing positive action involving active personal participation. So that's about the genuine. Is that genuine? Do you know that you have genuine emotional feelings to the person who needs your help, who are in fear and pain? Well, I don't like pretending, because people pretend. and we have just a fact, kind of we have those kind of habits. I'm sorry, excuse me, but there are lots of people are saying excuse me, but they are rude. They are saying excuse me because it's not really excusing, but they want to just pass. They want to just do whatever they want. That's why they are saying excuse me. It's not excuse me, but excuse me. Right? There are big differences. There is no genuinity. There is no real excusing. There are so many people who are rude. There are so many people like that. So mean, so uneducated, so bad characters. I can't say that those are uneducated. I mean, uneducated means it's not about the knowledge, but the virtue, but the common sense. Okay, uneducated. Do you think PhDs and professors or rich people they are all genuine? They can pretend too. Maybe they pretend more. So the genuinity and non-possessive worms, or so-called, is very important. If you just rely on the pretending, you better just think about your profession seriously. Okay. Maybe that can be your ideal or dream job, but it can be not quite right for you. There are differences. I want to be a baseball player. That is your dream. But what if you don't have good enough skills? What if you don't have any talents on it? Can you pretend that you like baseball? Well, what if you have great talent? You're just born to play baseball. Okay, you hit well, you catch well, you throw well. You have a good sense of moving. So you know what's going on. You're very smart, but you don't like playing baseball. You want to be a doctor, but you want to just stick to the baseball, or you want to just leave the baseball field and study more and be a doctor. All right. So if you pretend many times and you just sick and tired with your pretending, oh, I'm sorry, my church member, Jesus is with you, God will help you, God will heal you. But you just pretend that because you just concern, the person, how the person see you and how other people are gonna see you. If you just concern that more, you better just seriously think again your profession. I think you better just leave your job if you don't like it. If you lose your genuinity, you better leave it. You better leave. Oh my goodness. I just met a nurse in Fullerton. Somehow I just met the person just a couple of times only. And I just told person, she's the nurse, retired nurse actually, recently retired. I think 7 or 8 years ago, happened in Orange County. And I just, told her, you are very great. You just served the people for a long time, 30 years as a nurse, and I think your kid's gonna proud of you or something. And she just told me cold way that I just did that for the money. Well, maybe you don't need, maybe she didn't need any non-possessive wounds at all, because she just, hook others, but for injecting the medicines and distribute some of the pills, medicines and drugs, and, check the temperature and blood pressure and height and weight or something. But when I heard that, I got shocked because of the money. I understand that we all are working for the money, for a living. There is no problem at all. But what about the heart? What about the heart? That's the problem, I think. That was really sad when I heard that. Inherent genuineness. Yes. Effectiveness in counseling. Inherent genuineness. That's very important. Do you really have right and accurate sympathy? Do you understand that? Do you have non-possessive ones? Do you have inherent genuineness? Then your counseling, helping others can be effective, or your great skills can help some. But it can be some benefits for the, care receiver, for counselee, but the counselor, you. Okay, effectiveness as a counselor. The character qualities. Character is quite important, right? So just think about your character. I just, recently met and working with a person who has very bad character. I don't like that kind of character at all. So aggressive. So he likes scolding, pinpointing others' faults, and spreading gossips. I hope the man can leave. Effectiveness as a counselor, character qualities, humility, accurate self-assessment, flexibility of spirit. Character qualities. So you know who you are, you know your performance, you know your character, you know your type, okay? And even though you know one thing, you can be flexible with firm theology, okay? It doesn't, flexibility doesn't mean that it changes your theology. You can hold, firm theology, strong theology, but you can be flexible because you just hold it tight, then you can be flexible. Okay? If you lose your flexibility, well, you hit the balls with your baseball, your bat, baseball bat. Your baseball bat is hard. It's just stick, okay? It's just stick. It is a very strong stick, hard, stiff, but your body has to be flexible so you can use your back, right, and you just hit the ball because ball is moving. Okay, ball is moving. If you want to hit the ball with your hard bat, you cannot stand like this only. You have to swing it, and you need to use your body, so make your body strong and flexible, so you can hit the ball right and strong it. Humility doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that you have stubbornness is different. Okay, flexibility of spirit means you have a strong spirit, but you are flexible. So for that, you need to get accurate self-assessment. You know how much you are flexible. You know how much you are stubborn. You know how much, what kind of characters you have. Are you sure you are humble? People think they are humble, but they are arrogant. They are very, they are not very humble at all. Love, character qualities, encouragement and hope, servant attitude. You love your people, okay? You love your people. You want to just help those people. If you don't love others, you don't want to help others. So think about it. You expect any help from your husband and wife or pastor or teacher, but you don't get the help. You can think that those people are not loving you. Okay? And if you don't love those people, even though you are getting lots of help from those people, but you think they are not helping you. Okay? If you want to encourage others, you want to just say that there is hope, you'll be okay, then the person is loving you. If you have that kind of things and you just encourage others, you have love. Faithfulness, dependability and discipline. Dependability and discipline. Faithfulness, dependability and discipline. Can you trust the person? Can you depend on the person? When people have problems, they come to you because they know that they can get help from you. That means you are faithful. But people, church, especially the church members, there are many or not, the church members come to you for help. That means they depend on you. They depend on you. And you want to show your faithfulness to them. Just to hear one thing, from the person and spread that to others, you're going to lose your credit. They're not going to come to you again for any help. So keep the secrets. Respect the privacy. It's quite important. If you want to help them, you want to keep the power, you can help them because you have power. People think that you have power to help them. That's why they come to you. if they don't think that they can get any help from you, why they gonna come to you? If they don't find anybody else, and they can get help, they just pay and they want to get help. That's why we have counseling centers. You pay and you get counseling. But the pastors, they don't charge to their church members, and their neighbors, usually they don't charge. But they come to you, it's not because you are free, but because they think they can get help from you. Maybe they can find any solution from you. So that's why they come to you. Because you're a pastor, even though they don't know who you are, they come to you because they trust you. They love you. Well, what about the spiritual maturity? Personal holiness, biblical, theological wisdom, spiritual maturity. When people think that you are a spiritual pastor, so pastor, the position itself has power, but when they feel that their pastor has deeper spirituality, then they afraid of you. They afraid of you. They fear you, and they're gonna just be careful to you. They think that you have a certain level of spirituality. They think they respect you. So then they're gonna follow you and they're gonna listen to you more. Biblical, theological wisdom. That is what you want to have. So you know the Bible, you know the theology, and you know how to talk to them, and how to keep it, and how to take care of it. So effectiveness as a counselor, those are quite important. Those are character qualities. So what about the functional qualities? Functional qualities, building relationships, gentleness, kindness, sensitive, peacemaking. So, build relationships. Well, there are some dilemmas. You can build a good relationship with good people, but it's going to be very hard for you to build a good relationship with better people. Do you think you can build a good relationship with better people? Well, you can do that, but what if you lose your sincerity? What if you lose your faith? What if you have to just sacrifice your theology? What if you have to sacrifice your belief? Just think about it. You cannot sacrifice your faith for building the good relationship with bad people. That's not appropriate. So you need to be firm. Let them bark for whatever they want. You cannot have good relationships with all people, because there are some people you cannot make good relationships because those people are so bad. You don't want to sacrifice too much beyond your limit. beyond what you are supposed to. Do you want to build a good relationship with gangsters? For that, you have to kill others and hurt others. You're pastors. Don't do it. You can't do it. Functional qualities, but just those things are just based on the common sense. Understanding the counselor's environment, data gathering, uncovering hard issues. So you want to understand what's going on in your neighbor. Then you want to understand what happened to those people in the town. So you want to understand what they need really. Understanding the counselor's environment is quite important. You want to gather some data. Okay, so you want to understand what's the real issues. Okay. And you want to understand the particular person you want to give pastoral counseling. So you want to see carefully. You want to see what really happened to the person, and at the same time you want to see what's going on right now. And you can guess what will happen to the person. If you don't work on it, if you don't understand that, you're gonna lose, your counselees. Communicating, listening, other centeredness, clarity, presenting gospel. Communicating is important. You wanna just communicate. So some people just talk. I hate it. They just talk and talk and talk. Sometimes I don't know if they know what they are talking. They talk and talk and repeat and repeat and repeat. You can understand the pattern, but you don't want to allow that because you're gonna go crazy when you just hear or listen to those people for a long time. Oh my goodness. Communicating, are you a good listener? Good. Other centeredness, clarity, presenting gospel. So you can just clearly just present the gospel. You can clearly understand what other parties are talking to you. Communicating that's very important, for the counselor. Planning action, application, oversight, accountability, encouragement, admonition. So you can just plan something for the counselings. Well, pastoral counseling is part of the pastoral care. So pastoral counseling, it's not the separated one, but that is part of the pastoral care. So maybe you can start the pastoral counseling and you can end the pastoral counseling, but you still have to provide the pastoral care. That's the hard part for pastors, so other psychiatrists and counselors and psychologists, they just provide counseling and that's it. That's it. There are beginnings and endings. But for the pastors, pastoral counselings are on and off. Even though one topic of the counseling can be end, but still you have to provide the pastoral care for those people. So there is endless. So that is endless work. Until you leave or until they leave. So you wanna just have a more plan, not only for the pastoral counseling, but the pastoral care. Okay, you can finalize, you can end the counseling for the particular topic, but you have to make a plan for the counseling itself, but you have to plan for the pastoral care too. Well, that is the kind of different story, but no matter what, you have to make a plan for the pastoral counseling when you're gonna start, when you're gonna end. You're gonna meet the person once a week forever, or what? Depends on how many church members you have. Do you have 2 people or 10 people? You can provide. You can meet the person once a week. It doesn't bother you. But what if you have 100, 200 church members? You just meet the person once a week. It's gonna be heavy work. Well, if the person needs that, you can do it, and you have to do it no matter what, but you have to make a plan for the pastoral counseling, for the application, oversight, accountability, how you're going to do it, who's going to do that, or how you're going to encourage the person, how, admonition or something. So, those things you want to consider. Okay. So for the effectiveness as a counselor, we took a look character qualities and functional qualities. Okay, character is important and functional important. What about context for effective counseling? Context. So the character, your character, and functional, your function. But what about the environment? What about the context? So you need a safe environment. You don't want to provide a counseling on the street every single time, in the bus, in the subway, on the plane. So, if your church member is with a better, you don't want to counsel your client only, your church member only, because there is no secrets. It's not safe enough to talk sensitive things. Okay. But for the safe environment, if you have to see, you have to understand your office. You have to understand your office. So, where you are supposed to sit with your clients, with your church members are important. Are you safe? You have to secure your safety first. They can harm you. When they go crazy, they can harm you. Okay? So be careful. You have to know what you want to do. Okay? So be careful. Be safe. And for the conversation, you want to just find a safer place, safe environment. Is it comfortable? Do you have good enough lights? Do you have fresh air? Is your chairs okay, comfortable? Do you have any napkins or tissues for just in case when people cry? People can cry, yes. When people can cry, do you have tissues? You want to consider that comfortableness. When the light is too bright, too dim, when there is kind of stinky smells, be careful. Be careful. What about the confidentiality? All people can see, somebody is walking toward your office, and there is no other way they can go out. There is no privacy. It's going to be very risky that you close blinders because people are going to doubt you, and your clients will not be, comfortable with it. Confidentiality, when people don't think you are very sincere and keep the confidentiality, they don't come to you. You just hear something and just she has no good relationship with her husband. You know what? She has no good relationship with her husband. Yeah, don't do it. Confidentiality, you just listen from your client and church members, and you just keep the secret. You don't want to open that to others. And they know it. They know what you are saying. You think they don't know it because you just talk to somebody. Don't trust others. I'm sorry to say this, but don't trust others. They're gonna say something to them, and you're gonna in trouble more. You're in trouble more. So be careful. So trusting others is kind of dangerous always, but just to provide the help. Safe environment, comfortable and confidentiality, and non-distracting. When you talk with your clients, you want to just talk to your clients like this. Just don't check your wallet, or just don't check your emails, or okay, talk to you. Okay. Oh. Okay. Right? So while you are talking to your clients, you just check the email, just answer the phone, and send the text messages. You can do it. You can do it. Okay? So be careful especially when you just use your cell phone. You are not supposed to use it. Just talk to the person like this. Focus on. Non-distracting. Okay? Or shake your leg. Shake your leg. Or just comb your hair often like this. Scratch your back often. Scratch your back often like this. Just moving this way, so that those are not acceptable. You just be calm. Some people are just, do this. You are pastors, you're counselors, you are listening to your people, and just focus on the conversation. You wanna listen to those people, and you wanna read their facial expressions too, and you can see what they are doing while they are talking to you. So those are all gestures. So you wanna listen to their stories, but at the same time you wanna just look carefully what they are doing, because you don't wanna just see these ways, but you can see it, and you see their face like this, so you can see all things. Okay. Non-distracting, quite important. Furniture arrangement, extra chairs and couches. What if you want to just talk with your clients' families, just in case, and then you want to just set the proper furniture, okay? And forms and record keeping. You can get usually for the first interview, you can get the signs from your clients that even though those are your church members, depends on the situations, you can get some applications and basic questions, and you're gonna just record and keep the records on the file, so you can understand the person. Okay. What about the lending library? So you want to recommend some books to your clients to read, so they can get some knowledges and benefits from the book reading. Referral network in place, and you just see somebody who needs to use or better or something, and you want to refer to the right organizations. Okay, maybe you want to refer somebody who in need the kind of financial problems, and you want to just send the person to any social worker. If somebody needs any legal help, you can refer the person to the non-profit organizations, the legal organizations, or any lawyer you know. Okay, fee-based or not. What if you think the person has severe medical problems and you want to refer that person to a doctor or hospitals you can work with, you can communicate, efficiently. So those things, or you want to just know the government, county government, or any departments, or police departments, fire departments. Okay, so you have to know those networks in your hand. So those are things you need for the effective counseling. Okay. So then, what about the things you need to remember about your counselee? Okay, your character and your function and context. And what about the things you want to know about your counselee? Number one is acknowledge the hurdles many overcame just to contact you for help. Okay. Well, even though they know that you are their pastor, they want to talk to you for the phone by making an appointment. They call you, or they text you, or they email you, or they just stop by your office, and then you want to understand something is happening to those people. Okay. Well, some people can just say, well, can you give me a cup of tea, or I want to have a cup of coffee with you, or something. I just got some bread, to share with you. They can tell you like that, but there can be some hidden reasons. So when you just talk with those people, you want to make sure those people are in emergency situations or not, or you just talk to those people carefully so you can find what they need. Okay. Acknowledge hurdles many overcame just to contact you for help. It could be very hard for those people to call you and contact you for help. Number 2, recognize risks and exposure, vulnerability. Okay. So when they contact you, so when you just met them or just hear from them, you have to understand. You have to understand and recognize what kind of risks they have, what kind of exposures they have, what kind of vulnerabilities they have. Each seeks and needs a place of security and safety. Well, my wife got a phone call from a person that person was her client, one of her clients, and she called my wife one day, and my wife just popped out for saying she has to help the person. So I just heard from my wife later on, and then she told me that the client has been exposed for kind of domestic violence for a long time, but she finally decided to leave the house, but I don't know what she and then my wife had to let her know the shelters or kind of legal and basic things she has to keep her safety first. So that was the kind of alarming situation, and that is happening a lot. That is happening a lot. Cause when people go crazy, nobody knows what they gonna do. So very scary. Many things are happening. So you wanna know if they want safer place to stay, or they are in danger right now, something like that. So pastoral counseling, pastoral care, caregiver, the pastors themselves can be vulnerable too. Because what if, you just have one person, but what if the batterer of the person can harm you, and when the batterer knows that you just have the person to find a shelter, but the batterer can have bad feelings onto you. So pastoring is no good, safe job at all. Careful. Secure your safety first. Number 4, recognize that some, if not most, do not want to be there. Okay? So maybe your client or church members had no other choice but come to you. That means you can be not the best choice of your clients or church members. Which means you have to understand those people's situations. Okay? I got surprised when non-profit organization workers, that organization actually hate pastors. Well, actually, that organization is helping mostly women. Okay, and they have hotlines for helping women, and then they got so many feedbacks from those women who need any help, so they called the hotlines, and lots of people, they are Christians. They said pastors, they just called their pastors, but their pastors said they're gonna pray for her, and they didn't do anything for those people, or even they encourage those women to be more nice to their husbands, so they could escape. They could avoid any more battering, something. So I think seminaries for producing for educating the future pastors, they have a certain programs and classes how pastors can help others. There are so many uneducated pastors who don't know how to help others properly. I don't want to blame that, though. Number five is be aware of the tension between request for help and refusal of it. Do you have to help those people and whatever they requested? No. You can't do it. Sometimes you have to say no to those people. Sometimes you have to just provide what they need and you have it. You can just help those people, but do you have to help those people 100%? No, not at all. Be careful. You are not their doormats. You have everything you can help those people. You have to know your limit. You have to know your limit. Okay. So be aware of the tension between request for help and refusal of it. Helpful. Well, when you say no, they can get angry. Yes, because they expected that, and there can be some tensions or big tensions. But you have to understand that there are your limits. Number 6, each comes with ideas, assumptions, and expectations that need to be explored. Pastor's mind reader, fixed person, condoner of sin. So they think, even though they have some ideas and solutions, they want to just see their pastors because they want to get confirmation from them, from pastors. So they have, for example, they have 2 options and they think this is okay, but they want to get answer from their pastor, okay, this is better. But what if pastors recommends this? What if those pastors recommend something else? Well, some Christians are thinking that their pastors are kind of a fortune teller. they think their pastors see everything they, even hidden things. They think pastors can just, choose one right answer to people. So we have to understand those people have answers already, even though whether they have particular answers or not, or any any things they made decisions already. But you have to be careful when you just talk to them, cause don't pretend that you know everything. You can foretell right or something. And you got in trouble because you are not fortune tellers. You are delivering God's words to people, and you spreading gospels to people. You help the people on the basis of the Bible. Okay? You better have common sense. Yeah, rather than you just foretell something. So, but the counselees, they can expect those things, so there can be some conflicts. Number 7, the one-to-one relationship and total privacy may stir up intense and disturbing fantasy and perception formations. So, some people can fall in love with you and they like you because you just listen to them and they are in hardships, when they had no place to go and tell. You listen to them carefully and you just comfort them, you encourage them. They can fall in love with you, they can like you, and you get in trouble. And gender issues warrant consideration. So gays, lesbians, and kind of bisexuals and women, men. Clear boundaries are essential. The counselor bears final responsibility for establishing, maintaining, and rectifying appropriate boundaries. Even though pastors have responsibilities on it, those can be broken by counselees, the visitors and church members. It's not an easy job at all. The regular and the secular counselors get paid and talk to them. Even though they have set the boundaries, the counselees can just over the limits sometimes. But that is the job and it's professional. The environment, but the pastors, it's going to be very hard for pastors to avoid the visits or endless conversations because they like you, and it can be painful for that, and it is dangerous. It is dangerous. It is quite uncomfortable. It can be. So be careful. So we better be careful and be wise, so we can just provide a proper help for those people who need. And so pastors, when you just provide pastoral care and counselors, be careful and keep your security and safety first, and then just to prevent all those things, possible problems when you just provide pastoral care and counseling, because nobody knows what will happen, and you see something happening, and you have to avoid it, and you just should be wise for that. Okay. All right. Thank you, and we'll just see you next week.